If you're in the Northern Hemisphere right now, which I'm not, but if you are, it's fall coming up. And fall, for me, always means folk punk. It's a great genre. I've been listening to it for a long time, and honestly, I think it's just the perfect way to celebrate the leaves changing and getting ready for winter, with a little bit of acoustic guitar and just some lyrics about drinking and some harsh vocals. So, I have a few recommendations today about how you might want to get into the genre this fall. I'll be giving 3 recommendations, and with each of them, I'll give an album and also one specific song from the album. These should hopefully each give you pretty decent entry points, and 3 different entry points, really. The first pick for me is a pretty personal one. I really like this artist, and I think that this album is really influential in the overall sound of folk punk, that I think will give you a pretty good introduction to what it sounds like overall. And that album is the acoustic EP by Against Me. And the song specifically from this that I think you should listen to is Those Anarcho Punks Are Mysterious. Really, this is just an absolutely awesome album. Laura Jane Grace's vocals are amazing. This is such a banger album. All the tracks on it are really solid, really a lot of fun. And I think you'll have a good time with this album. It's tough to recommend the rest of Against Me's discography if you're really looking for a similar folk punk sound, as they kind of moved away from the kind of only acoustic type sound to something a little more rock-ish. So it's tough to recommend the rest of it, but I think this will give you a pretty decent introduction if you're looking for a really broad overview of what folk punk is like. The second recommendation I have is if you're more interested in the political side of folk punk, which is specifically Burn the Earth, Leave It Behind by Wingnut Dishwashers Union. This is one of the many aliases of the artist Pat the Bunny, who has a bunch of folk punk music out there, and a lot of it's really good, and you should definitely listen to it. But this is my personal favorite, as this is where I started with him and with folk punk in general. Specifically, I would recommend listening to the song Urine Speaks Louder Than Words. That song is an absolute banger. You will be singing it. It will be stuck in your head. It is absolutely awesome. And honestly, this album and artist in general is such a great introduction because you can listen to more Pat the Bunny, you can listen to other more political folk punk artists, etc. And honestly, I think it's just great for that reason. So definitely, I would recommend checking this one out, and just enjoy it. Finally, my third album is recommended because this is what I like to call the more like personal side of folk punk, songs and music that tends to focus more around like very personal themes, things like addiction, relationships, growing up, a number of different kinds of things, but still in the folk punk style. And that album is The City Isn't Big Enough by Apes of the State. This is a great band, and you are going to absolutely love them if you're interested in this kind of thing. The specific song I recommend from this is Bill Collector's theme song. Great song from this album, and I think that it kind of helps to sum up, I think, a lot of the very personal tone of this. There's a lot of really great songs in this album, honestly. It was quite hard picking just one from this one to say that, like, that should be your introduction, but it's pretty good, and if you really like a lot of what Apes of the State has, check out the rest of their discography, and you can even check out some kind of similar bands to them, bands like Local News Legend, bands like Days and Days, that I think have a very similar sound, and I think you'll enjoy them for very similar reasons. Those are my 3 recs, so if you like them, please let me know. And if you have any further recommendations or other things that you think I may have missed here, please let me know in the comments. So, yeah, thanks.